Mr. Needles, can you take roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Baako? Here. Commissioner Whitaker?
Here.
Commissioner Gaudioso?
Here.
Commissioner Rakowski?
Here.
Commissioner Neary?
Here.
And myself, George Needles, present.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 29th, 2020 Special Commissioners Meeting. On tonight's agenda, we have three topics for consideration. One is for the appointment of our real estate tax collector. The other is accepting an agreement for towing services for the Township of Upper Chichester. And the last one that we will be considering is hiring of 5 part-time police officers for the Upper Chichester Police Department. With that said, I'd like to welcome the residents who are streaming us live. If you have any comments during this time, you can dial in. The phone number is 571-748-4020. Again, the phone number, 571-748-4021. The code to enter is 685-501-975 #. Again, the code is 685-501-97 #. To unmute your phone, dial *6. After unmuting your phone, state your name and your address, then begin your comment. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak, and you'll be placed back on mute after your comment. I will give this 1 minute. After 1 minute, if nobody calls in, we will move on to our meeting. Give it another 30 seconds to go, and then we'll start our regular meeting. All right, let the record show there were no call-ins from the citizens. At this time, I'll take any citizens' comments from the public that are present. Anybody would like to make a statement? Let the record show there are no public comments from the individuals present. At this moment, I will take a motion for item number 5 on our agenda.
Yes, I move to appoint Dan Sensision, Sencishin, as a new township real estate tax collector.
All, okay. Go ahead, Joe. Yeah, we do. So there's a motion and a second.
As a statement, I'd like to say, I'm going to abstain from the vote. I did not participate in the interviews. Wasn't able to participate in the interview, so I'll abstain. But I will say that I read the resumes, and he does. The candidate does appear to have the most experience. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitaker. So motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. I'll take a motion for item number 6 also.
I move to accept Luongo for towing service from the RFP, authorizing the solicitor to prepare the contract between the chosen company and the Upper Chichester Township.
Motion and a second. Are there any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and motion is carried. There is a item on the agenda, item number 7. I'm making a recommendation that we hold off until our caucus meeting next week to vote on this. It's the topic is the right-of-way with Adelphia Gateway LLC. So I'd like to table that for tonight and vote on that on next week's Commissioners Caucus meeting. If the board wants them here, I'm okay with it, but we can make it at a board's decision. Anybody would like for them to come and present?
I'm comfortable. I mean, it's pretty much no.
Correct. The
Right.
project's it's been something that's been around for a couple of years, and I believe they came in and presented to us in the past as well. So.
So I would say we just settle this next week.
We're their last, they passed every other obstacle, right?
Okay. We have until November 9th, so to make a decision. So next week we would fall within that timeline. Item number 8, I would like to have Commissioner Neary read through that to make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to consider a motion to hire the following individuals to the position of part-time officer in the Upper Chichester Township Police Department. Philip Troutman, Pasquale Starace, Sean Douglas, Vincent Recupito, and Anthony Grosso.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried. Thank you. At this time, I'll take any commissioner comments from the board, if any.
I'll just say that we had a presentation last night from the library, and, all of you, or each of you should have received the packet. There's a budget or proposed or potential budget in there of what the cost could be with a new library, in comparison to 2018 and 2019, their end of year, amounts. There's also 3 quotes from 3 different engineering firms in there. And again, this is all preliminary. As our manager pointed out, there are no, the budget doesn't include like the furniture and setup and basic maintenance of the building, yearly things that could come up. So it's really a preliminary budget. They're gonna work to, add those other items into the budget. And, yeah, so just look through it and, give your feedback. They will be coming to November's meeting. Obviously, there were 3 commissioners here last night, so we just sat and listened to the presentation. We didn't deliberate, obviously, or discuss anything. Another item to keep in mind is that they are prepared to, or they want to, obviously, have that piece of land so that they can move forward with the philanthropic events. They had one of the guests on the phone. He is someone that has, that raises lots of money. He's a part of an organization of philanthropists, and they raise big money for events or for purposes such as these, and that would be a library. So the goal is to raise the money, not to raise taxes, not to, burden the taxpayers already, as the township already supports the library with the annual stipend of approximately $90,000. So they're obviously hoping to keep that as they start and move forward, but they don't want to make it a tax burden by this. So the plan is to raise the funding and also to get a loan if they have to. So that would be a last resort. But so read through the information and send questions or emails to Dawn regarding anything that you come across.
Thank you.
Just to be clear, there's only 2 estimates in there. The one estimate's from Catania, and that was just off the
Okay.
cuff. But there is going to be another,
Third.
a third presentation made. So just as Nicole said, read it carefully and get some questions. I know I have some, and we have to find out, in fact, whether the one thing, the business thing, if they have to own the land or whether they just have to have a lease on the land.
Or
So
what?
Good question.
I don't know that we can give them, I don't know whether the township can give them the land, but we could lease it to them for $1 a year. I have no problem with that, but
Okay. So you said we need to find that out, is what you're comment.
yeah, because if the tax credit can only be given to an organization that owns the property, then that is a different ball of wax than
Right.
George, didn't they have that issue in Aston just recently? Because the fire company had land and the township didn't own it and they went and got money. I think what Mr. Neary is saying is that the funding, I have no problem with, like I said, if it ever came up to $1 a year for 100 years, but they may have to own it to be able to get the funding. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so there is a lot of nuances and complexities in funding a project like this. And so really what's going to have to be defined by them is the path that they're going to follow with the fundings that they're going to seek. So, one funding source may require them to own a property where the other funding source may require the municipality to own the property. So obviously you can't do both. So really, like when they're developing their funding strategy, they're going to have to look at all these different sources and talk to these different sources and determine what is our best strategy forward to be able to, what is their best strategy to be able to achieve their goal. There may be some things that they look at and they say, wow, that would be a great opportunity. However, one opportunity might cannibalize another opportunity.
Right.
So they're going to have that in their strategy.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Me and Commissioner Baco met with the Sewer Board Authority tonight, just to let everybody know. That meeting was held at 6:30. I believe they left off some extra packets of the line, the proposed line that's running from Beach Street down through Lower Chai. So we can definitely give you copies of that to let you know what's going on. So I think the next step is, I know Lower Chai wanted to meet with us as a board also. So we discussed tonight the possibility of maybe just me and Joe meeting with the Sewer Board Authority and Lower Chichester. If not, we would have to advertise the meeting if all 5 commissioners met. So I think maybe the path of least resistance is having maybe 2 representatives there from our board and 2 from Lower Chai. If the entire board wants to be there, I have no problem with that either. Just letting everybody know what was discussed tonight and the path forward. So,
Did they discuss, the sewer fees? We received a quote that was like 12%. Did you hear anything about sewer fee increases?
No, the only thing that was presented tonight was they gave us just an aerial shot of what they believe the route would be for this main project that they anticipate that they would like to undertake. And so the discussion was based off of, what the need was, why this project came about.
I think there is a fee increase though, I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, there was no discussion.
I think they're raising their fees.
There was no discussion about sewer fees or anything to that nature.
no, the only discussion was the topic was the new main will improve the flow and improve the capacity also from the connection between Beach Station and the station on Namens Creek. So we talked about what permitting they might have to be going after, PennDOT, the Conservation District. Talked about maybe a possibility of getting permits through Lower Chichester. And then we talked about a meeting between the 3 boards. And I told them that we would be happy to be a liaison for that. I also stressed to them that, what I had discussed with Lower Chichester is this is our Sewer Board Authority's project. We can't negotiate anything on their behalf between Lower Chichester and the Sewer Board Authority. That's something that those 2 entities would have to do. And if we could be the middleman to help facilitate this line going in, I told them that we would be happy to help out in any way.
Is this a complete new line going in from Beach down to Lower Chai?
Yes.
Yeah. What was presented to us was it's a bypass line to take flow from the Beach Street station and put it into a pipe that goes directly to Delcor.
It should resolve some of the flooding problems that I have to have all the time.
To give them added capacity for
Same as Creek. Yes. Because right now, each is pumped to Name Street, then it goes to Delport. Want to open up more capacity at both of our pump stations.
So we can, certainly think about it throughout this week, and at the caucus meeting, we can talk about it again. But the sewer board authorities will be reaching out to Lower Chi along with us to see if we can set up a meeting.
And I don't have a problem with the 2 people on. If they're gonna send 2 people, then we can send 2.
Okay.
If they're gonna send their whole board, then it's gonna be advertised anyway, then we can send.
Okay.
I don't have a problem.
Thank you. I don't have anything else, Commissioner Neary or Commissioner Orkowski. If there's nothing else, yep.
I just wanted to bring this to the board's attention now as we get towards the end of the year. There's a very strong possibility that we'll have to have another special meeting at the end of December. As you know, typically at the November meeting, we advertise our ordinance for our millage. We can do that because we don't change the millage and our assessment stays relatively flat annually. Well, obviously with the reassessment this year, we're going to need that number from the county to know exactly what our assessment is going to be. And there are not indications that we're going to have that in time to be able to stick to our normal schedule. So flowing around different possibilities, ideally, I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to pass an ordinance with a millage that we believe it's going to be. And then we're going to need to either pass another millage by the end of the year, or we're going to have to quote unquote reopen the budget, even though we're revenue neutral, and set the millage in January again. So it really dictates as this stuff comes to us from the county, but I believe that they're still doing the hearings, the reassessment hearings. So I do not believe that we'll be able to meet our timeline that we typically meet. So there will probably most likely be an extra meeting this year.
Is the county pushing for the assessments to take effect in 2021 or 2022?
So we're reassessed as of 2021. So those tax bills will have to have the appropriate millage on them. And we are obligated by law to be revenue neutral within a certain parameters. So as much as I want to guess, if we guess and we're not in that parameters, then we're in violation of the law. And I just want to make sure that we comply completely.
Okay.
We got to do what we got to do. I mean, but why guess on the first one in November or December if we know we're not going to have the number anyway? So
I mean,
you're going to have to get the exact number by the end of the year anyway.
Yeah, I got to find out if because of the timelines with the state and things for reporting, we may have to report them in millage, which means we may have to set a millage, even if that millage is incorrect.
can we readjust it
So then
in
what we would
January?
do
I
is
mean,
we
that's,
would rescind the ordinance and pass a new ordinance with the appropriate millage. I don't know if that's the appropriate way to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that.
So I spoke with our auditor, and that was a recommendation at this point as one of the plausible solutions to do this, because there are timelines that we still have to meet at the state, even if we can't get the information. So
So that would be, the ordinance would be more appropriate than having to reopen the budget.
Yeah, the budget is not going to change.
Yeah, the budget's not going to change. So the process.
budget doesn't need to be reopened. The millage has to be determined properly.
Right, but you also put the budget in that number
In that-
in your.
Correct.
I'm
In
sorry,
the ordinance.
village numbers in your budget, so that's why. I was
So-
asking.
You don't.
You know,
No, we put a dollar amount, but
We
what's
put a dollar amount.
okay,
but in essence, if you let's say we put in 3, and then when we do get the assessment, the calculation of 3 could potentially be significantly higher than what you budgeted. So if it's before the end of the year, you're possibly going to have to open the budget, but you're not going to change the dollar amount. You're just literally going to open the budget to reclose the budget with no change and change the millage. It's all like it's a technicality. It's all like a technicality. So
I don't believe you're gonna have to. I believe that you are gonna have to adjust millage, but I believe that's a separate ordinance.
it is a separate ordinance. So there is a plausible. I agree, but in the conversation with the auditor today, she said that you may have to do a 2-part to this to be able to make it all make sense.
okay, yeah, I would have.
Or if somebody from the state says which way is we have to do it.
So everybody,
If the auditor is wrong, we're still gonna pay the price.
Yeah, and everybody in Delaware County is facing the same
Yeah,
challenge right now, so
right.
we're all gonna work together towards a solution as to what's gonna be the most appropriate way to do it. I just wanted to make the board aware that there are gonna be separate action steps that we typically do not take that we may have to take this year, and that some of our timing will be off. So as we go through the process, it's gonna look a little different than it typically does.
Wait, and one final question. Have you heard anything back from the county regarding the aid, the money that we applied for? I heard something and, you did.
I have not gotten any response back other than thank you for submitting. So what Nicole is speaking about is back in April, the Delaware County Consortium of Governments sent a letter to to County Council expressing that due to the fact that Delaware County was classified as a municipality because they have over 500,000 people, they got all the CARES Act money, and then subsequently the municipalities of Delaware County became ineligible to receive state CARES Act money because we fell under this blanket of Delaware County. So at that time, they did not respond that they would be giving us any kind of money. Fast forward to about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we had a call with them where they stated that there was roughly, I believe, $90 million of unspent funds that they needed to find a way to spend for CARES Act. And they indicated that one of the possible things that they would look at would be distributing that money to the municipalities. Again, they also stated there was many other things that they could pay for at the county level and many other expenses they had at the county level, so they were not guaranteeing that. So they asked us to submit expenses. Under those expenses, public safety expenses were included, so I gave them a rough estimate for Upper Chichester of about $2 million worth of expenses that would qualify under the CARES Act. At this point, I have not heard anything back.
I know they've given money to some organizations, and so our finance director mentioned it and stated that we might be receiving some funding as well. So if you hear anything, let us know, because that would be helpful. They do have to spend the money. All that money has to be spent by December 31st of 2020, or they have to send it back. And I do know that Elaine Schaefer has been pushing to give money to municipalities.
If there's no new business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.